UBC inspiring Uganda, the 20th day of October 2022. Pleasure to have your company. Thank you for choosing the national broadcaster. Here I am. My name is Sandra Kahunde, of course, to bring you news as it is, as far as this afternoon is concerned. Now, to start off this newscast, a multi-billion-a-day biopharma, a pharmaceutical company, is slated for commissioning 2 years after site development began. The pharmaceutical project meant to produce vaccines in Uganda and export to the global market will be commissioned this Friday. We have the details in this report.
We are the first biotech company on the African continent to make biological drugs. We are the first biotech company on the African continent to make mRNA vaccines, recombinant vaccines, the latest cancer drugs.
A $500 million day biopharma pharmaceutical company located in Chigogwa, Matuga along Bombo Road is to be commissioned this Friday.
And what you see here is the largest pharmaceutical company on the African continent, even as really commented by WHO, because they were like, we have not seen this anywhere in Africa.
I was here, we brought here His Excellency, and I'm sure he will be here to launch the manufacturing. I'll make sure that he's here so that we feel the pride. So this is one of our facilities that is going to make a major outlay.
Construction works were launched by President Yoweri Museveni and witnessed by President William Ruto, then Deputy President of Kenya, on 3rd June 2020. The state-of-the-art laboratory under the Day Group is to manufacture pharmaceutical products, ensure quality control, carry out biotech research and drug discovery. It will also manufacture vaccines that are meant to teach the cells how to make a protein that will trigger an immune response.
We have got for centuries had all these diseases. We have got grand and grandmothers and fathers treating. Therefore, to look at these herbs or these natural products and scientifically quantitate, find out what's in there is absolutely the right way to go. And of all the things that I've seen here in terms of research, that's the research that excites me most.
Day Biopharma is also to manufacture malaria prevention medicines and other types of life-saving medicines. It was founded and managed by a Uganda biochemist, Matthias Magola.
Company on the African continent to really build a standard that meets FDA and European Medicine Agency. So it will give us market to the rest of the world. That's why we are struggling to make sure that our facility is qualified by those standards. But no, to be qualified by those standards means that actually you are providing the drugs that meet international standards for the African people.
The facility has already been visited by World Health Organization experts, Food and Drug Administration consultants, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, among others, to confirm its capability.
This is very amazing.
I need every time you look at it.
It's really amazing when you look at, especially since the units are going to be made in the United States.
FDA approved.
Yeah. That's enough.
Exactly.
Uganda has for long depended on India, US, Russia and Cuba, among other countries, for vaccines.
Because in the whole of Africa, nobody has technology that we got in here. And we thank FDA. We thank the American government because you guys have supported us. It's the first time technology now flowing from the US to Africa. We thank you so much.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
In other news, the Ministry of Lands and Urban Development, in partnership with the IGAD and the International Development Law Organization, is set to review the land policy and educate the people about land usage as a way of resolving land conflicts in Uganda. This will be witnessed in the Land and Justice Conference to be held in Kampala from 28th till 28th of October, from 24th till 28th of October this very year.
Issues of ignorance of the law. Because if you don't know the provisions of the law, it's hard to fight for what belongs to you. Issues of corruption, issues of greed, all those fuel land conflicts in the country. But as a ministry, we are now trying to find ways of empowering the communities to understand the whole issues relating to land, The overall objective of the conference is to enable high-level policymakers to exchange country and cross-country policy experiences, lessons learned, with a view of establishing a regional agenda and a national policy priorities that comprehensively respond to land conflicts.
The Justice Week seeks to promote dialogue on the region's needs for effective pathways in reducing land resource-related conflict, providing an enabling environment for women to be able to enhance and access equal access to justice for all, and also to help us develop and foster emerging best practices with respect to land-related resource management conflicts.
About 19 high-risk contacts of Ebola disease of the Mobende case are being isolated in Mulago Referral Hospital as health workers monitor them closely. The Director of Public Health and Environment, Kampala Capital City Authority, Dr. Okello Daniel, said the authority is focusing on areas of congregation as high risk. He advises areas like transport places, markets and arcades to ensure they revisit the use of the temperature guns to assess fever and hand washing stations.
Ministry of Health, together with Kampala Capital City Authority, have activated the isolation unit at Mulago Referral Hospital that was for COVID to also handle cases of Ebola that may arise in Kampala. The unit has the capacity for 100 beds and it will handle confirmed cases and suspects. Dr. Okello Daniel, the Director of Public Health, KCCA, says they plan to back up the unit with a field hospital. He reveals that Mulago Isolation Unit currently has 19 contacts of Ebola.
It can be able to handle the confirmed cases and those that are suspect cases. So as the confirmed cases do increase, then the number of people you can handle for suspect does decrease. We have isolated 19 persons, and these are the high-risk contacts, whereby we have seen they have been in close contact with persons who have been confirmed. But the number keeps on growing. There may actually be more because we keep on getting new contacts every day.
KCCA has embarked on infection prevention and control training of all workers in its health facilities to equip them with knowledge on prevention measures, hence protecting them against contacting diseases from patients. Dr. Okello also emphasizes that government assured them of adequate personal protection equipment and they are making sure that health workers in their facilities adhere to using them.
When you look at infection prevention and control, not only does it not take about Ebola, that's hemorrhagic fever, but all across the board. So what does someone do when they are outpatients? What does someone do when they are inpatients? What does someone do when they are conducting an operation? So all these will be different levels of what we call protection. We call it IPC. And all this says that in case someone has signs and symptoms, what do? Put on gloves, make sure you can sanitize, but just to make sure that the health workers are aware of the prevention measures.
The issue of mobilization and sensitization of the communities is very critical in creating awareness for Ebola. KCCA has mobilized teams, starting from politicians to village health teams, to spread messages on Ebola.
When we have this mobilization and also sensitization of the community, that is what will generate the alerts, and that is how we can be able to investigate. But the alerts can also be generated from the health facilities when you have sensitized the health workers and they can say 1, 2 or 3 people came with this symptom.
As the authority focuses on areas of congregation like transport, markets and arcades, the need to highly sensitize the community to observe the simple measures cannot be ignored.
Is going to be one, keep your hands to yourself and be able to wash them as frequently as you are, wherever station you are. Input for the hand washing stations in the arcades are those that are critical, that are actually there. One of the things I've also seen, or we have been told from what is happening, fever is critical. Many people are presenting with a fever. So we are also advising the kids down there to make sure that as much as possible let us be able to again enforce on the temperature guns.
KCCA has put a toll-free number 0800299000, which has been displayed on its ambulances that members of the public can call to report a suspected case. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
Stakeholders in the education sector have asked a government to consider revising the number of years learners spend in primary school from 7 to 6. Now, according to Dr. Mary Goreti Nagawa, the policy should also be able to capture what is required for the teachers in terms of capability rather than the education award attained.
Instead of just focusing on the duration of education, can we look at the learning outcomes?
The running education policy implemented in 1992 provides for a compulsory duration of 7 years of learning in primary school, but does not provide for compulsory pre-primary or early childhood education. In achieving a fundamental and sustainable learning policy, stakeholders have suggested adjustment in several workable recommendations. This was during an engagement with the Education Policy Review Commission in Kampala.
How many of us would want our children to stop at P6? We commissioners.
Among the recommendations include reducing the duration of primary learning from 7 years to 6 years, compulsory pre-primary of all children supported by government, and modification of the national teacher policy.
For us from this other side, we are proposing close down some of these teacher training colleges. You are wasting a lot of money training teachers who are over and above the supply needed by the private and government.
According to the director, WEZO, Dr. Mary Nagawa, the focus on primary education should be shifted from the duration spent in primary to the skills acquired.
There is no evidence to show that what can be the skills that can be acquired in 7 years cannot be acquired in 6 years. There are examples of countries which have tried the 6 years of primary education.
She says this should also be accompanied by revision of the language of teaching.
Which naturally in this country will come up with chlorophyll now. If you tell the students start teaching photosynthesis, these are words I know in biology.
The Executive Director, National Planning Authority, Dr. Joseph Muvawala, says the universal primary education policy should also be reviewed and all its implementation policy.
Like that, UPE means universal primary education delivered by the private and government. So if you call a private school an UPE, it tells you that even the entire country does not understand the process.
Accordingly, identifying and acquainting learners with the necessary skills rather than subject them to non-beneficial learning would be proficient. They also say the award of a degree should not be used as a justification or guarantee of quality learning.
Then we had very many professional teachers with degrees and they failed to make people understand.
The last time government made reviews in the implementation of the recommendations on the education policy was in 1992. Over 30 years ago, the Education Policy Review Commission was established in May 2021 by the Minister of Education, Janet Museveni, to review the viability of the current education system. Susan Naung and Kenneth Tanaba reporting for UBC TV.
The 4th Division Commander Brigadier General Boni Bamwesiki has called upon political leaders in Gulu City to provide an alternative for rehabilitating the renowned Gulu Street gang Agu after serving their sentence in prison. Now, Brigadier General Boni Bamwesiki was addressing the media at a joint security meeting.
At a joint security meeting at Gulu City Yard, Brigadier General Boni Bamwesiki says most of these kids are homeless, thus a need for a better solution.
There is the gangs, which you call them the Agus. I don't want always to use the word Agu because I don't know the meaning of Agus. I always call them my brothers, my what, if they turn into criminals, I don't know. They look for survival, That's why I was saying that the political world must develop an alternative for them. Once they take them to the University of Learning, and some of them were released, I think. When they take 200, we'll find maybe 100 are released, and they come back, and they want to survive, they want to eat, they want to live. So don't we need really an alternative? You can't say you will, most of them are juvenile.
This call comes at a time when religious leaders in Gulu City have just held a breakfast engagement with the Gulu City Authority about the rise of street gangs.
One of the reasons why we organized this prayer is because of our vision to transform a heart, to transform a nation. We recognize our place in this nation as a spiritual and a para-church entity to cooperate with the leadership of the city and the government to enforce development through spiritual support.
Peter Banya, the deputy RCC Gulu City, called on the community to place the knowledge shared in practice.
As leaders, we need to unite. If we are united, we can serve our people. We can address so many challenges once we are a team. If we are divided, you'll find that we are having a lot of challenges here and there. But I can assure you that with unity, we can move forward as a city. And the issue of security that I've talked about, Favor of God is one of the ministries that have tried to help us address certain challenges that we have. And we know our city has a big challenge of these street kids that we call Agu, and I've been trying to rehabilitate many of them.
A few weeks ago, security in Gulu City has been undertaking joint security operations to hunt down a renowned street kids gang, locally known as Agu, and over 200 have been arrested and prosecuted.
The youth have been reminded of their role towards steering an all-inclusive leadership and governance at a two-day national symposium held in Kampala. The Executive Secretary for IPOD, Frank Rusa, and the Government Chief Whip, Hamson Oboa, addressed the youth on their importance to shape the direction of development in the country.
Government has been encouraged to formulate policies that ensure equitable participation of the youth into leadership in order to have solutions to their problems in society. The meaningful participation of the youth will strengthen their ability to influence policies.
We do this through many ways. We have many programs to support youth leagues, women leagues, delegates conferences, internal democratic processes in political parties, and many other interventions.
A national youth symposium has been held in Kampala to bring to speed the contribution of the youth in governance.
Time someone keeps telling you you're young, you think you're too young to even take the next action. You're too young to offer leadership. I think we need to get that tag off ourselves, because world over, liberations have been led by young people.
It's very important for us to speak out. That is when we can also have safety nets within which to protect you as a victim of sexual violence.
This is the right time we're supposed to wake up and build our confidence so that we make sure that we build our country in a way of discipline.
The Government Chief Whip advised the youth to remain patriotic and rid of differences that divert their progress and development.
Programs have come in from the government. Are young people taking advantage? The Nyoga is coming. My district, Aleptong, used to get about 100 million shillings under Youth Livelihood Fund. Now, what about under PDM? The 30%. How many parishes are in Aleptong? 76. Multiply, if the money is fully released in this financial year, 100 million. And every 100 million, 30% is earmarked for the youth. We need to salute the leadership of the National Resistance Movement.
The two-day symposium attracted youth leaders from across the country and was conducted under the theme, An Inclusive Political Environment, are the youth shaping the agenda in the political landscape of Uganda. Ivan Kahwa, UBC.
Now, when I return after these messages, we shall be looking at Mark Wadulo's story that will be giving us insight on what the renowned economist Nwagaba Augustus will be advising the nation on how to handle the current inflation. Keep it UBC.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial star 165 star 77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 100-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Quatesimu! Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3 GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone net.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial star 175 star 9 hash to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey!
You don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number and you send it to her chap chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Don't fear. Refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
MTN joins the people of Keralur to celebrate the 12th coronation anniversary of the King of Keralur, His Royal Majesty Ubim Philip Raoni III in October. At MTN, we believe that we only succeed if the communities in which we operate succeed. And so, we're happy to join the people and well-wishers of the people of Keralur in promoting social cultural programs of the Ubim.
Walego Mugisa ni Ubimu ku Keralur.
Welcome back. Glad to have your company and thank you for watching and staying. On to business updates that are coming through this Thursday afternoon. Renowned economist Augustus Nwagaba, in a series of tweets, advised a fellow Ugandan economist not to politicize a prudent economic management. Nwagaba cites various disastrous recommendations in addressing the current inflation because of political bias. UBC had a chance to interact with him as he shared 4 key approaches a government and the public should take to address the biting economic times.
The reason is not that we want the interest rate to increase. No. The reason is that we want people to reduce appetite. You get it? To reduce appetite for getting money.
Uganda, like many other countries, suffers from imported inflation, caused by a range of factors including the COVID-19 shocks to the global supply of oil, Russia's war in Ukraine, and climate change effects.
So production, as we speak right now, of oil is at that level, the same level. Yet the demand rebounded. Vehicles came back on the road, you remember? The president had, they had halted vehicles on the road, they had halted events, they had halted the machinery industry, but all of this came back. So demand rebounded. But production remained at the same level. Prices have to go up.
Professor Nwagaba advises that increasing food production in all regions of Uganda should be an immediate step to address food security in the short term.
From now, October to October next year, what we should be focusing on is that people get good seeds. The government can make sure we have good seeds through some means. Acaricides, pesticides, working on post-harvest management, these are things we can work on them immediately. And also think that the government needs to invest very heavily in irrigation infrastructure so that we can control production. And then with control production, you control maize on the market and beans, and prices will come down.
He insists that subsidizing petroleum products and instituting tax incentives will create a luxury mindset among citizens.
There is no way any government can institute subsidies on petrol and diesel. And I will give you an example. In Uganda, we consume 6 million liters of diesel and petrol every day per day. No. It cannot work. Why? Because you look at 6 million liters a day, even if it is 10 shillings, which government is paying for you, times 6 million shillings a day, times how long do you know? Where would the money come from? Borrowing. Our borrowing now is at 52% of GDP. It is beyond the threshold of 50%. So where would the money come from? From printing?
Now, the people themselves, what should they do?
The people themselves need to do 2 things. One is to really spend carefully the small money they have. Is really to spend the money carefully. The rich people can continue with that luxury, but the poor person, you must spend carefully because you don't know when this period is going to last. So that's my advice. Spend carefully. Then also, if you have really, you are serious and you have a family, engage in production.
Those are the two things we need to do.
According to Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee report this month, annual headline inflation rose to 10% in September from 9% in August 2022, while annual core inflation, which excludes the volatile food and energy prices, rose to 8.1% in September from 7.2% in August 2022. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News in Kampala.
In other news, a government has pledged to find market for homemade products outside the country. This was confirmed by the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Francis Mwebesa, at a function held at Uganda National Bureau of Standards. He says there will be waived certification fees for micro, small and medium enterprises with limited or no funds to improve standards for homemade products. Over 300 enterprises will be rewarded with certified permits at UNBS headquarters in Boyogerere.
Uganda's micro, small and medium-sized enterprises constitute over 90% of all firms, accounting for 70% of the total employment and make up 50% of the country's gross domestic product. However, these enterprises have faced challenges in operation, with the greatest threat registered during the COVID-19 pandemic, as over 300 enterprises were stuck with a burden of insufficient funds, thus closure. To empower and uplift these enterprises, through a project funded by MasterCard Foundation, started an integration to support these sinking enterprises.
Banks under the PSFU consortium of the Bankers Association have put together 1 trillion shillings to help with export credit facility.
The program has seen medium and small-scale business owners receive free quality certification permits for a year.
We are here to support companies which suffered from the effects of COVID-19. We have worked together with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards and supported them.
Honorable Francis Mwebesa, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, assured government's efforts in finding ready markets for Uganda's products.
It's a private sector driven economy. And so are other economies where you are going to sell. And selling is not always done by a person who has got the commodity to sell. So the government is giving the enabling atmosphere or situation.
Medium and small-scale businesses entrepreneurs were urged to desist from dodging certification and maintain consistency and sustainability of their goods.
There is a big market for certified products. Should your products and certified products be found on the market, they will be destroyed.
The Executive Director, UNBS David Livingston Ebiru, called for the maintenance of improved standards of homemade products, both for domestic consumption and export sales.
Want to make sure that they're looking for quality products, safe products is key, and you can only ascertain that that confidently by seeing UNBS quality mark on these products.
When your products are not certified, first of all, your customers will run away from you.
The certification permits are renewable annually. I'm Ivan Juko and Aisha Nakazi for UBC News.
Now, before we let you go, an update from the world of sports. Now, with merely a month to the awaited FIFA World Cup in Qatar, 7 new stadiums have been built in and around Doha to host the 64 matches. In a daily FIFA World Cup update, we bring you the host stadiums for the games.
The FIFA World Cup 2022 will be held in Qatar from November 20th to December 18th. Set to be the 22nd edition of the World Football Championships, the FIFA World Cup 2022 is set to be a special one, considering it will be the first time that the Middle Eastern country will host a Football World Cup. This will also be the second time that the FIFA World Cup will be hosted in Asia. The 2002 FIFA World Cup was co-hosted by Japan and South Korea. A total of 8 stadiums spread across 5 different Qatari cities will host 32 teams in 64 matches during the FIFA World Cup 2022. The designated venues of the FIFA World Cup 2022 Qatar are Lusail Iconic Stadium in Lusail, Al Bayat Stadium in Al Khol, Al Janout Stadium in Al Wakla, Ahmed bin Al Stadium, Khalifa International Stadium, and Education City Stadium Il Ahlian, and Stadium 974 in Doha. All the venues are located within a 55-kilometer radius of Qatar's capital city of Doha. Barring the Khalifa International Stadium, which has been operational since 1976, all the other stadiums have been constructed over the past 3 years with the FIFA World Cup in mind. The Khalifa Stadium will host the third-place playoffs match. Lusail Iconic Stadium has the highest capacity of 80,000. Among the 8 venues, it will also be the busiest stadium of the lot, hosting a total of 10 matches, including the final and closing ceremonies.
Well, that's all we had time for this particular newscast. More current affairs and updates of the day's activities will be coming your way later on the subsequent news hours of the day. Our newsroom is working around the clock to bring you those particular updates. My name is Sandra Kahunde and I'm coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. So it's a pleasure spending time with you. Thank you so much for always keeping us a part of your day as a UBC to inspire you. From the entire team behind the scene, we wish you a great Thursday afternoon and keep it right here as we bring you more interesting programs as far as the day is concerned.